Measures taking CBRN material are one of the cornerstones of the EU counter-terrorism strategy. Although member states are responsible for CBRN policy, close cooperation and coordination at EU level is necessary.
Unfortunately, we live in a dangerous world, and we need to be prepared for these low probability but very high risk events. I think that we cannot do that without being as prepared as we can be, and we cannot be prepared without exercising, training, finding out whether the plans that we have put in place will actually work in practice. This is one of those areas where public authorities cannot really guarantee security without working with private authorities. In this case, for example, the airport authorities and the authorities which run the civilian airlines.
The ability, on the one hand, to quickly draw together and maintain a comprehensive, across-the-board situation overview, and on the other hand, to be able to elaborate cross-policy areas, coherent response options for the EU level, that will be key to a concerted and coordinated crisis handling at the EU level.
The main concern when we turn police officers into proactive preventive agents are that they will use brigadism, like racial profiling in the process, and/or will jeopardize civil rights by enforcing themselves on legitimate members of the public. We have to achieve prevention capacity at the field level by providing officers with a tactical tool based on analytic intelligence concept of targeted information gathering, analysis and conclusion drawing.
The crisis should be managed as low as possible, and the larger the crisis, the higher the level. And when it's high enough, when it's large enough, then it will be political. But it's just not just on-off situation. It is related to the whole chain. Then there are several levels: the sub-highest level, the interface between political and administrative level, and the permanent operation. But what is important, these all are interrelated to each other.
There has not been a mass casualty CBRN terrorism yet, But, however, there are a few examples of events which had a clear potential of creating mass destruction, mass casualties. The potential consequences of a successful CBRN attack, heavily linked to vulnerabilities in modern societies, is an aspect commonly found in different assessments of the threat. Now, this is, however, not a factor that should be included in assessing the threat and the likelihood of events like these, as it is a factor for assessing the risk.
Let's imagine an aeroplane. Let's say Airbus 340, as it is European, 340 flying from Hong Kong to Helsinki in a Russian airspace. Some of the passengers are facing symptoms. The breathing gets difficult, they feel dizzy, and some of them might turn to be aggressive against the cabin crew. It's not only about the technology, it's not only about the engineering and the nice nuances of how to deliver the situation picture from the one agency to the other. The question is how to deal also with the intergovernmental level.
I fear that in relation to civil liberties, which we cherish within the European Union, an absolutely essential issue is to prepare and to calm down public fears and alarms in relation to that. Because if there is a major incidences, I'm afraid we'll have to struggle very hard against trying of those that are pushing for in a secure state. And the consequences on individual member states, I think, will be quite severe.
The current public diplomacy crisis information structures are ad hoc. There are multiple players, flawed information flows, unclear roles and responsibilities. It needs a comprehensive messaging strategy, and responders need proper training in messaging and communication that keep the public calm, informed, and constructively involved.
We shall not just count on lessons learned from past experiences. Those who are actively trying to create harm, they are not necessarily following that line of thought, but they are just searching for opportunities. And opportunities which our security systems and our security environment offers to them.
In past 10 years, there have been Serious attacks by the terrorists starting from 9/11 in 2001, Madrid in April 2004, London in July 2005, and now the latest Moscow airport 2 weeks ago. Those attacks have been a kind of classical hijacking and bombs, but we really need to think about what if those would have been also CBRN related. What would have been the consequences then?
We shouldn't look too much to the past. We have to look to the future and what are the new ways of terrorism. Perhaps CBRN threats is one possibility. Then we have a growing sector, this cyber threats, and I'm pretty sure that because they are much easier to use, and there are a lot of positive elements looking from the terrorist angle in that. So perhaps that's something we have to find.
The authorities, of course, they are handling the situation. They take care of the crisis management on field level, but the decision makers, they need to know what has happened there, because nowadays, Prime Minister or any other minister, when he comes out from the meeting room, he or she can face a TV camera and microphone and a reporter who will ask what has happened there and what are the authorities doing there. So it's fair enough that the decision maker, the politician, already knows the situation on the ground.
Those who are working with immigrant people daily basis, they have very good situation awareness. We call them in our press call them that they are so-called flower hat ladies, because they are social and they are taking care of integration. But they are very separate groups from internal security groups. I think that we must do something dialogue between these two lines, because maybe it can be so that these flower hat ladies have better situation awareness than the internal security sector in our society.